West Lawn's Rated Coaches Show brought to you in part by Dr. Jackson Fordham, DMD. Call for an appointment today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, out to West Lawrence High School here with head coach Keegan McLean. And Coach McLean, you're coming off, I guess, somewhat of a renewed rivalry. That's the way it was built, Coach.
Yes.
And you hadn't played East Lawrence, you know, except for a little scrimmage game with a new coach, with Coach Turner coming in over there. You saw a much more disciplined team when you looked at the portal footage.
Absolutely.
And Coach, you don't take anything for granted.
No, you can't. You never know what's going to happen on a Friday night. You can't go in there taking anything for granted, especially with, Coach Turner's a good football coach. He's doing a great job over there. He's building a foundation. He's really laying the framework to build a solid program.
Yeah.
And it's a work in progress. And really the final score doesn't really indicate, how competitive it was early. We had some things go our way in the third quarter where they had some special teams miscues and a couple turnovers that set up some easy scores that kind of helped us put the game away. But he's doing a fantastic job over there. Those guys are going to be competitive very soon, I believe. He just needs time to build it up.
Yeah, and when you come into a program, Coach, you know it very well because you've been to a couple different places. Even when you came into West Lawrence and here with Coach Alvin, when y'all first came in, you guys had to change the culture.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit more fortunate in the sense that there were a couple coaches ahead of us that really did lay a foundation of discipline and hard work.
Yeah.
There hadn't been a lot of success, as we've said before. I think when we came in, West Lawrence historical winning percentage was like 37%, something along those lines.
What is it now?
Now I think we've pushed it up into the 40s, but it's still. But I'll say this: since 2011. It's been, I think, right around 60%.
There we go.
So we've done better since we've come in. But it did take us, people don't realize, we didn't make the playoffs to our fourth year. Our first 3 years, we didn't make the playoffs here. We were changing that culture, making them understand the significance of lifting weights, of being disciplined, of being tough.
Yeah.
And Coach Turner's going to do the same thing over at East Lawrence. But I was pleased with the way our kids came out and played Friday. They hustled around. They did what they were supposed to do. They played assignment football. They were physical. And, if we do those things, then I'm pretty happy going forward.
Yeah. And so you go into that first game, you trying to get your feet on the ground. You got some good experience. You went pretty deep with your men, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. We, in the third quarter, once we went up 35-0 in the third, we started subbing guys. And before the third quarter was over, we had all our JV and ninth grade in. We had no starters left in the game. Yeah. Our JV and ninth grade did score a couple of cheap touchdowns late to make the score a little more inflative than it really was.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to tell those guys to go in and, hey, not play hard, not try and press coaches. I was pleased that they were in there getting after it.
That's right.
And I know East Lawrence kids were too. They put some young guys in too late.
Yeah.
So, it was just at the end, that fourth quarter turned into really a depth game for both teams. We were getting some different guys some looks and pulling our starters out and making sure they were healthy going into next week.
Yeah, so going into the game, did you think you were going to be throwing the ball like you did?
No, we kind of got every week we sort of let the defense dictate what we do. Ideally we would be 50-50, if we could be that every week.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll take away the run and we have to throw it. Sometimes they'll take away the pass and we have to run it. East Lawrence did a really good job early of kind of shutting down our run game. In the first quarter, they were out playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, and we were able to hit them on a couple big plays early and open up the run game later on. But we got to do what the defense dictates and what they give us.
Yeah, and so, you go into a game like that, it's kind of hype for you, and were there any surprises? Did you get any injuries out of it? Because a lot of times, with a game like that, you may come up with an injury.
No, our kids were healthy. We didn't have any issues with cramping, any issues with conditioning, no injuries out of the game. We've had a couple this week in practice that I'm concerned about this Friday. But for the most part, we left last Friday healthy and ready to go.
How about penalties last week?
Yeah, penalties early in the season, there's something coaches hate. It's just part of getting back into that swing of things, the holding penalties, jumping off sides, little things like that. We got to get that stuff cleaned up. We get in a region play, and those things can really hurt you. We did have a special teams miscue. We fumbled a punt. We did fumble the ball once on offense. I mean, we can't, those are things we can't do. We got to get that junk cleaned up.
Yeah, and you hate them now, you despise them later, I guess.
Yeah. You can live with them now, especially when you win the game.
Yeah.
But, when those things happen and it affects the game, it's bad news.
And like you said, when you look forward, when you look to competition, when you look to teams that are, you're going to have to just pound the whole game, they'll never lay down. It'll be close.
That's right.
You can't afford that.
No, you can't afford
You give up the game that way, don't you?
Absolutely. And those are things that are frustrating because we control those things. The other team doesn't make us turn the ball over. They don't make us commit penalties. That's all on us. That's discipline. That's effort. That's focus. Those are things that we as a coaching staff have got to instill into our kids, that you can't do those things.
Yeah. Coach, I love defense. Yeah. I love the defensive game. I love playing defense. I always have. I love seeing a good defense.
Me too.
You're a defensive man. So, Coach, all that being said, why is it so important not to let a team score?
The thing is I've told people this before. You can score 50 points and lose. You can lose 55-50. But you hold a team to 0, you're not going to ever lose the game. There's no way you can lose when you shut them out, unless, of course, they get a score on special teams or your offense gives up a score.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you shut them out on defense, you're going to win the football game.
Yeah.
And our goal every week is keep them out of the end zone. I don't really worry about yardage and first downs and those things. Those things can be inflated and overrated.
Yeah.
Stats are stats. They can be. You can make stats say what you want them to say. But I want us to go in there and keep them out of the end zone. If we keep teams out of the end zone, then I feel good. Now, obviously, we're not going to do it every week. We've been fortunate the last 2 weeks to keep teams out of the end zone, but we're young on defense, and I think as we get into more and more competitive games, as you say, we're going to be tested a little bit more, and maybe some of that inexperience may show through. But hopefully, we're disciplined enough to swarm to the football, to get guys on the ground and make them snap it again and make them drive the ball on us. Not a lot of high school teams are disciplined enough or patient enough to do those 10-play, 80-yard drives. If we can keep them to that, I think we've got a shot. If we're going to give them big plays and easy touchdowns and short fields, it's going to be a long season for us.
Yeah. Put yourself in a hold on
Absolutely.
Coach.
Absolutely.
I understand you got a few highlights to work with here today. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with the highlights with Coach McClain, okay? Stay with us.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Oconee Fall Line Technical College. Think differently about college. New student registration begins August 1st.
All right, we welcome you back, and now here with Coach McClain and the highlights from last week's game.
Yeah, did a lot of good things here offensively early in the game. Really trying to had a chance for some big plays. AJ misses a wide open receiver early, and those are things that we've got to make sure that we take advantage of and we don't miss those opportunities. Thought we did some good things, though. You'll see here, I think this is E.J. Holmes catching a little quick out, getting a first down for us right there. Came back to that a couple times later, and it was a very successful play. E.J. is one of our top kids, and we need him to have big games. Here you'll see A.J. hitting a little quick pass, getting a first down to Bradley Wilson, sophomore for us that we think is going to have a great year. Defensively, really felt good. There's De'Eric Jackson coming in, making a big stop. Thought we did a great job on the run game all night. Thought our kids were physical. Thought they swarmed to the football and did a lot of good things. Again, still the first series here. You'll see them trying to run the ball, and you'll see our guys really fitting up well and getting a lot of white hats to the ball. That's a little new to say. Used to saying blue hats. Getting a lot of white hats to the football. Really like to see that on defense. Here again, playing the option really well. Not the greatest form tackle, but good assignment football by Daniel Lindo, number 24. He's new to us this year and has had a tremendous couple games. Back on offense, here's EJ catching the little out route, and then fortunately making the defender gambles a little bit, goes for the breakup, and EJ's able to turn it up the sideline to get our first score. Good break by the defender there. He just took a risk, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, and it didn't in that instance, and it benefited us. Again, back on offense, you'll see A.J. throwing the ball a good bit early. Brent Carr just beating the kid one-on-one, making a great catch. Love to see him get into the end zone there, but a heck of a catch, heck of a route by him. Good throw by A.J. Also on that play. And then the very next play, you'll see the run game a little bit, hand the ball to Dorian Edmond, having a big hole there and walking into the end zone. And we like to see that from our O-lineman up front, to give us a 14-0 lead there late in the first quarter. Back on defense, again, I thought our kids did a good job of being physical. Derek Jackson checking a crossing route. Great hustle play there by Devontae Royals. Again, he's a junior linebacker, first time starting on Friday nights this year. Does a great job of showing his speed and really running down a pretty elusive quarterback. Again, second quarter, back on offense. Trying to get the run game going a little bit here. Dorian Edmond, a little tough run there. If we can pick up 5, 6, 7 yards a carry, we feel pretty good. We know that we're not that explosive team that's going to pop those 80, 90-yard runs on anybody. But if Dorian can stay in between the tackles and lower his shoulder and move the chains, then I feel pretty good about what we can do there. Good job by the offensive line as well of opening up those holes inside. Again, here you'll see a little reverse, try a little trickery here. Didn't really block it all that well, but EJ makes some things happen right there. Make a few guys miss and churn out some yards and get a first down for us. And, EJ's a kid that we want to get the ball to as much as we can. One of our best athletes, great character kid too. We love him, having him on the field. And we're going to get the ball to him, see what he can do as much as possible. Again, the run game here, this is Jesse Jones making a nice run outside, lowering his shoulder a little bit, trying to fall forward for some extra yards, moving those chains. We think Jesse can help us if he'll learn how strong he really is and lower the shoulder and run over people. He's going to be a definite benefit for us on offense.
What year is he?
He's a senior. A little play action work, and then we get EJ on the out and up. Got him to bite on the out a couple times, hit him with the out and up. That's tough for a corner. You got to be real disciplined, and EJ and AJ made him pay on that one to kind of help open the game up a little bit in the second quarter to make it 21-0. I think this is Dorian Edmonds here. Does a good job, good blocking up front. We get him on a little stretch. He makes a nice cut right there, runs through a couple hand tackles, and is able to keep the chains moving. I think he finished with about 85 yards rushing on the night. Of course, we pulled him in the third quarter. But, if he can churn out yards like that, then I think we've got to, it opens up that passing game for us. We can't be one-dimensional. Defensively, again, thought we did a great job. They had a little Wildcat Packers. They brought in an athlete at quarterback. Thought our kids really swarmed. There's Devontae Royals, Derek Jackson, you'll hear his name a bunch, and Daniel Dorsey all getting in on the tackle, swarming to the football, and really making a nice play on defense there. Again, same drive. They got a 3rd and short right here, 3rd and 1, I believe. But our kids do a good job here of hustling out. Nice play, Daniel Dorsey. Yeah, it was 3rd and 11, making a nice play there. Kid gets behind him a little bit, but Daniel recovers, and those are things Daniel's got to learn to clean up. He's a young kid to play in. He's a junior, first time playing. Takes some bad read steps there, but then really recovers. Put kickoff on there. This is one thing we really stress, kickoff and punt in our special teams, of swarming down and covering kids. We do a great job here to start the second half of really covering this kickoff well and forcing them to start inside their 10. It's hard to go 94 yards on anybody. And so I love it when our special teams can step up and do that, and really helps our defense out, pinning them deep, and hopefully helps us to flip the field. We do stop them on that drive. They end up turning the ball over, I believe, on that one, and we get a short field to work with. And you'll see Dorian Edmonds here running through a couple tackles and getting into the end zone. Again, there were some things in the third quarter where they had a couple miscues that set us up for some short scores, and that was really what enabled us to kind of put the game away there in the third quarter. But that's a good run and a good job, Q Mack, you see, on the O-line pancaking people. Back on defense again, a good job here. We flushed the quarterback, lose contain a little bit, but great job, Devontae Royals, again, showing his speed, getting the tackle. This week we're going to face a really elusive quarterback, and if we don't do an absolutely outstanding job of containing him, he's going to be running wild on us. So that's a great job there by Devontae of picking us up. Again, on defense, I think we're the next series maybe. Good job here. E.J. Holmes jumps in front of a pass and takes it to the house. E.J. had a couple touchdowns on offense, had a touchdown on defense. You're going to hear a lot out of number 10 this year, and teams are really going to have to account for him because he's definitely a playmaker for us. And I love defensive touchdowns. I tell you what, you get touchdowns on special teams and defense, that's good stuff. E.J. just reads it well, jumps in front of it, and really just outruns everyone to the end zone. Again, kickoff. Another thing that we stress, getting down there, covering it. especially late in the game when you've got a big lead, you want kids to be able to cover it well. There's a great tackle by Brent Carr to force them to start a drive on their 14-yard line. You can get them inside that 25, I feel pretty good about it. Really sets our defense up in great position to flip the field. Here you'll see a pretty good, this is De'Eric Jackson here, makes a great play, comes up with a big hit. We like that. We want to be physical. We want to set the tone. And, good job by the East Lawrence kid. That's a huge hit. He pops right back up, gets right back in for the next play, so a lot of credit to him. But De'Eric makes a great read here, flies from the backside linebacker position, and really makes a nice hit. Like him to wrap up and shoot those arms a little bit, but we'll take the collision. You can hear they're running stretch. De'Eric Jackson, a good job coming through. You'll see him and Trent Carr in there making a nice play in the backfield for us. Tackles for loss, we had, I think, 8 or 9 this past week. If you're tackling guys behind the line of scrimmage, that means you are reading your keys, you're getting off blocks, you're making plays, and we need that defensively. Again, got them pinned deep. We're able to force a miscue on special teams, and we get a short field to work with. And you'll see A.J. rolling out and hitting McKinley on a quick touchdown, and that was the last play for our varsity kids in the game. After that, we were able to pull them and get some subs, and I think that made it 35-0 maybe, something along those lines. But good read by A.J., a good route by McKinley, and a good throw and catch. Had one more series on defense, a nice blitz right there, able to flush the quarterback, and Spencer Dacus getting a big sack. He's been a force for us at nose the first couple games. If he can keep doing what he does, I think it's going to be really, really helpful. Great blitz here by our guys, flushing the quarterback. Missed a tackle there, but then Spencer's there to clean it up. See here, same drive, De'Eric Jackson. We got a good blitz here on. Little X stunt outside. Flush the quarterback. Lose contain again. We got to clean that up. But De'Eric comes up and cleans it up at the end with another big hit. And I tell you, Seven was flying around out there making plays and really had a good game for him. We need that out of him every week for sure. But you'll see his number called a lot. He's coming in from the nose. We line him up at nose right here. He gets off a block, sheds a couple tackles, fights outside, makes a nice form tackle.
How about that?
We're going to do a lot of things with De'Eric. He's very versatile. We're going to mix him up, put him at some different spots, and turn him loose. Some really good plays here. Quarterback stepping up, getting a sack there, Daniel Lindo, to force 2nd and long. Come in the next play. You got 2nd and 14 thanks to the sack. And I think we get Spencer Dacus here, just beating a block inside, making a great play, also getting a tackle for loss on the quarterback sweep, pushing them back to the 25, makes it 3rd and long.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good. A hustle, just being fast, using your strengths. And now you got 3rd and long from the 25 on a drive that started on the 15. We're able to flush the quarterback here on a pass. Great coverage downfield, nobody to throw to. Then you get De'Eric Jackson coming up, laying a hit on the quarterback and forcing a bad throw. Then puts them in 4th and long, again from the 25-yard line or 30-yard line. And 4th down, we're able to come up and do a little bit better job here of containing the quarterback. Did lose him there at the end, but then we come up and make a big hit, force an errant throw, and we take over on downs. Again, that's just a great series of defensive football. Anytime a team starts in there on your 15-yard line, you get nervous. Got to do a little bit better job there at defensive end, not letting them get outside. But good job coming up and good pass break up there by Daniel Dorsey on 4th down. And then you'll see some young kids in right here. Put this in there, Lorenzo Turner, sophomore running back for us. Really going to be a good player for us once he figures things out. You'll see him get the edge right here, and you'll see the speed he's capable of. He hits the corner, and he just leaves everybody. Again, he's a 10th grade kid that we think is going to be a really good player for us. He just needs to figure a few things out, get a little more experience. And I think once he does that, he's going to be a heck of a Raider. Again, the JV defense in the game right here, giving these kids a little love. They're playing hard out there, swarming to the football, making tackles. Love to see that out of your young kids. They get out there and they don't get a lot of opportunities on Friday night. And when they do, you love to see them go out there and take advantage of it and do well. JV offense again right here. Lorenzo back there at tailback again. And a young 9th grade quarterback in, Jace Thompson, doing a good job. Lorenzo makes a nice cut here, hits the hole, and is moving chains. Again, just a 10th grader, but has a 300-pound power clean. So he's a strong, strong kid. JV kids with a little pass to the flats, and Christian Covan's able to really make a guy miss and turn it up the sideline. Like him to get in the end zone here. never like to get tackled at the 2, but nice little run and catch by Christian Coven, another one of our JV kids, getting out there and making the most of his opportunities. And then here on defense, again, a lot of young guys in, some 9th graders in on this too, which is good to see. Able to really get up and make a couple stops right here and hustle. There's Christian Burris on a nice tackle for loss, 10th grade linebacker for us. And kids swarming, kids flying around. Definitely love to see that with our young kids.
All right, Coach, and with so many kids getting in the game and impressiveness of several defensive players especially, you know, when I'm looking at that, I see, you know, and I kind of key in on defense, you know, but again, you have 4, 5, 6 kids, not to mention the fact that you're going to use Jackson in several different positions. How do you know, until you're at the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th game, you know, and even at that, knowing you're going to throw something different at them, but it's hard to prepare if you don't know where you're going to line up.
Yeah, we try to, you know, with De'Eric, he's such a dynamic player like Dorian Gorham was last year.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to line him up at different spots to try and really force the offense to account for where he is on the field.
Yeah.
You know, it'll just be a shift in our defense. It won't necessarily be a substitution.
Yeah.
But we'll just, sometimes we'll line him up at nose, sometimes we'll line him up at end.
I love it.
Sometimes at linebacker, just to give them a different look and let him key in on some things and force the offense to say, hey, you know, 7's over here, let's make an adjustment. Because, you know, he is one of our most physical players on defense, probably our best defensive football player, and we want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I noticed a few times they were trying to double Dacus there because he's so strong. He's he stays low to the ground. He's just, again, you talk about what kids power cling, and you know, that kid's strong as an ox.
Oh, yeah, Dacus is a 335-pound power cleaner. You know, he's just strong. And the good thing about Dacus and De'Eric, they're both juniors, so we'll get them back next year. But, yeah, Dacus, I tell him, I said, man, if you can eat up double teams in there, Big 7's running free. And that's what we want. We teach those D linemen that odd front. We got to eat double teams. We got to be strong up front. We don't run around blocks. You know, if they want to double team you all night, that's great. Eat them and let your linebackers go and make tackles.
How you feel about your secondary?
You know, they're inexperienced. I feel good about EJ and McKinley experience-wise. The other side, we got Shante Burney, Jr., and Daniel Dorsey, a junior, who don't have a lot of experience in the secondary. I thought they played well. You know, I think that when we get to a team that can really line up and throw the football, they'll get tested a little bit. But my hope is just that every week they get better. You know, if they get better every week, by the time we get to region, those games that matter, you know, I think we'll be okay. I fully expect them to make mistakes early. That's just part of it. But hopefully those mistakes won't be mistakes that lead to touchdowns. But we can get them on the ground, make them snap it again. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's right. So, Coach, you grade out every kid every week. Who came out on the top this week?
De'Eric Jackson really graded out high. Spencer Dacus graded out really high for us. You know, some of those secondary kids will grade out high when it's just when they're running the ball a bunch, because you basically get in a stance, you do your fundamentals, you swarm to the football, you get a plus, you know. But really, out of the guys that were involved a lot, De'Eric and Spencer both graded out really, really well for us.
All right, flip the ball over. How'd Q-Mac grade out, and who else?
Q was great on the offensive line. He's still learning a lot, so he's going to have some busted assignments. And that's us as coaches. You know, we're asking him to do something. We moved him over there to help the offensive line out. You know, we lost a couple kids on the O-line at the beginning of the year, so we really needed some depth there. And Q stepped in and had 10 or 11 pancakes, you know, the first game. You know, he'll block the wrong guy sometimes, but, man, he's going to block them all out. So we can live with that as we get him cleaned up.
Coach, we're going to take a short break. We want to talk about the upcoming game this Friday night. It'll be home. It'll be at West Lawrence, so you'll want to make your plans now to turn out. So stay tuned with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Camille Cutnose, here to invite you to put our team at Community Bank to work for you. Teamwork is vital in sports, at work, at home, and community. That's why we've worked so hard to establish a winning team of customer service and lending professionals. When you call on Community Bank, we stand ready to help. There are other banks, but there's only one Community Bank. So come see us and let us put our team to work for you. Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County, common sense banking never goes out of style.
Hi, I'm Locke Wilford, and Dublin Chevrolet is proud to sponsor high school football.
Go Crusaders, go Raiders, go Falcons, go Irish, go Chevy.
Call, click, or come by Dublin Chevrolet.
All right, welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this Friday night, Coach McLean, you have the Crisp County Cougars coming in to Raider Stadium, and they're no joke. They started out with America's Sumter. I guess you've looked at that film a few times, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and so we're playing a very good 3A team.
Right.
And when you're looking at it on film, they beat a pretty good 4A team.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
battle right down to the end of the
Oh,
game,
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
it,
yeah. It
Coach?
was an overtime game, double overtime.
Okay.
Actually, they beat Americus 17-14. Americus is a super athletic team. Crisp is a super athletic team. You know, a lot of people make a big deal about those classifications. Look, you got players, no matter what classification you are. And they've got a lot of good ones. They're well coached over there at Crisp County. They hustle and fly to the football. They're outstanding on defense. They're athletic on offense. You know, they're a team that's made it to the second or third round the last couple of years. So they're formidable. They got a lot of guys back. They got several kids who have committed already. I think they got a linebacker that's verbally committed to Georgia Tech. They've got some other kids that are pretty big-time recruits. So they're going to be a handful. You know, I hope we just go out and compete and play hard, play Raider football.
Yeah.
And if we give ourselves a chance to win at the end, I'm happy. You know, because it's going to be a very good football team. And we want to schedule those good teams early, get us ready for that region play, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And Chris is going to be a huge, huge test for us.
Yeah, and totally different, I guess, competition. I don't know who they played in their scrimmage game. I don't know if you looked at that, if
Yeah.
that was close, but
Yep.
you know, they battled in a very close game. That does
Definitely.
something to a player in the
Oh, yeah.
preparation
Yeah.
in going forward. And here you are, Coach, you know, you pretty well walked away with
Yeah.
you know, what you done so far. You're in complete control.
Yeah, we hadn't really been tested yet or been in one of those games that really, really matters.
Yeah.
You know, Crisp County, they beat Houston County in their scrimmage 14-12. They beat Americus Sumter 17-14. They've been in a couple close battles. You know, they're going to be battle tested. They're going to be tough. And it'll be exciting to see how our kids react in a tough game because and I hope it's competitive in the fourth quarter. You know, I hope that you know, they aren't running away with it. But if our kids are fighting in the fourth quarter, it'll be a great experience for us to see what we're made of.
So we like the advantage this year. Fans really like the advantage this year that we have several receivers that we can throw to.
Right,
We have those good hands. We got a quarterback who's, you might say, a 3-year starter, 2.5, 3. I mean, he's had to play in time. He's calm. He's doing a good job. So let's look at their secondary. Do we have height on them? How do we match up over there?
Well, you know, honestly, athletically, they probably got us in that regard. They've got some great athletes over there that can really run. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to be fundamentally sound. We're going to have to catch balls. We've got some, like you said, we got some receivers who have great hands this year. E.J. Holmes, McKinley Kent, Bradley Wilson, Brent Carr, Trent Carr, all those guys can really snag balls. I don't know if we can just line up and run past anybody in their secondary and throw it up, but we're going to have to hit those bench routes, hit those stick and spot routes, make those 5- and 6-yard catches and move the chains. If we can be patient and do that, I think we'll be okay. You know, if it gets into a track meet out there with them, you know, they may have a little advantage there. So hopefully it won't turn into that.
Yeah, and then you look at how your line's progressing. They had an opportunity to succeed a few weeks, to do a good job.
Right.
Again, you got Q Mack in this week. I'm sure he's a good leader for you on that offensive line.
Absolutely.
What do we look for there? What's the matchup look like there?
Yeah, well, it's going to probably be the best defensive front seven we've played in a while. They look very similar to Mary Persons on the front seven. They're big, they're strong, they're athletic. I think points are going to be at a premium for us this week. You know, it definitely won't be like it was last week. You know, we're going to have to defensively play great and keep the game close, and our offense is going to have to take advantage of some opportunities and put points on the board. You know, I think their D-line is really good. They're super athletic. You know, hopefully schematically that we can find some things where we can move the chains a little bit up front. But it definitely it's going to be a test for our O-line. You know, definitely, and their offensive line on the other side of the ball is really big, really physical. You know, we got 3 brand new D linemen. I know Spencer played a little bit last year, and so when Abram was hurt, but all 3 of our D linemen are new Friday night starters, so it'll be a real test for them.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it, Coach, and all Raider fans know that this is a good opportunity to be tested for our team. And so in saying that, ladies and gentlemen, when you come out to the game Friday night, don't sit on your hands, don't be quiet. Please, you got to get up, you got to get behind the Raiders all the way through. And that's a huge benefit. Playing at home makes a difference.
Our kids
Your
really
crowd.
feed off it. They feed off the energy. We've been a very good team at home the past several years, And I credit that to the crowd, to the band, to the cheerleaders that really create that atmosphere. If we can get that rolling, our kids do definitely play better.
Yeah, so let's count on that this Friday night. So you want to turn out at 7:30 kickoff. Pregame will be about 7 o'clock, so you can get rocking around there. You bring your peanuts, Coca-Cola, you have a good time, and you support the Raiders. It's important. We're looking forward to this Friday night. We appreciate what you do, Coach
Yes, sir.
McClain,
Thank you. Appreciate
and your
y'all.
coaching staff, man. Y'all are really working hard, and
We're
you
trying,
keep
brother.
raising the level.
We're trying.
Yeah, keep up the good work, and you do your part. You turn out this Friday night. When you see these young men around, these coaches around the community, pat them on the back and encourage them. And thanks for tuning in to the Coaches Show this week on TV 35.
Westlawn's Rated Coaches Show brought to you in part by Dr. Jackson Fordham, DMD. Call for an appointment today.